Good morning. It is Friday, September 20th, 2019. We are back in Indianapolis after an instant classic happened last night in New Orleans. I just so happened to be in a booth in a town that was no less than 145 degrees with 100% humidity. I lost 72 pounds last night, but it was an absolute honor to be there. Speaking of honor, the boys and I are joined by an absolute radio legend, a Hall of Famer, a man that has done life right, one of the greatest mustaches in the history of the world. He was on the air for 33 years with the legendary Bob and Tom Show, which I got my start. Dear friend, mentor, one of the best smartasses to ever exist on this earth. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Kavoyan.
Thank you. Thank you, studio audience. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Pat.
Bob, when I say this, I mean this.
Yes,
Back in the day, I used to show up at your studio.
that's correct.
And every time I talked, all I was trying to do was to get you to cackle over there. Okay? That was back when you were smoking.
It was easy. It was easy. You're a funny man.
I used to be. Now I'm just an old worn.
Now you're just kind of, you're dying right now.
But that was back when
Yeah.
you used to smoke like 3-4 packs a day.
Yeah.
And
That's
now,
when it was okay. Now people frown on it now. I don't know. I don't get it.
now you're a retired man enjoying the hell out of your life with your
it's-
beautiful wife, Becky.
It's wonderful.
I couldn't even fathom it. Radio is such an interesting form of entertainment. I said this in my whenever it was announced that I was joining Westwood One. Mm-hmm. It's a very intimate relationship.
I used to work for Westwood One.
And
I retired.
did you like them?
Yeah, they're great people.
They've been very nice to us too
Yeah,
thus far. It's only 2 weeks in, but it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Got their signs up.
Good
on
organization. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
We are currently on 41 radio stations across the United States of America.
Bravo.
Bob, I told you we were supposed to launch on 40 stations. I thought it was going to be 7. The original number I was.
We launched on 1.
That's
Yeah.
That's
by the way-
impressive.
I know.
By the way, so when I heard 7, I was like, "Oh,
That's
I'm
fantastic.
cool with that." And then they were like, everything they were trying to like undersell it. They're like, it's very hard to grow and to get another station because the program director has to pool a show,
Yep.
then has to choose your show,
Yep.
and then there's definitely going to be backlash because of how intimate radio is. People are spending a lot of time with these people. And then whenever they're like, "Hey, we're on in 40 states," I was like, "Oh my God,
That's a lot.
people are gonna hate us. People are gonna hate us early, Bob."
No, you're going to be like the flu. You're just going to keep infecting America. You are.
Well, the flu, I think I had a little battle with the cold there from going to New York, Indy to New Orleans. I think I picked something up, and at about 4:30 this morning, it broke. I woke up in a puddle of Pat McAfee sweat. I mean, an entire puddle. But I went to the bathroom, and I got a little bit more out of me.
Oh, good.
And I came back, and I could breathe through my nose, and I was like, "Oh my God, that drenched bed right there is everything terrible that was inside of me from Winston-Salem to Indianapolis to New York to Indianapolis to New Orleans, and now it feels pretty free. I feel pretty good this morning.
Yeah. This is the cleanest air in the country right here. You know that.
I can't believe you had any sweat left after New Orleans.
Well, I was bonging waters on the way home. I was trying my best to stay as hydrated as possible. Fun story I'm probably not supposed to tell.
Well, go ahead.
That's what we're here for. Anybody that didn't catch Thursday Night Football on ESPN last night,
Fantastic. Classic game.
you're going to get to see it again.
Really?
That game is going to be showed, I think, for a long, long
I
time.
hope so. It was great.
When we talked to Dana Holgerson, I got a chance to talk to Dana Holgerson the night before the game, and he talked about he felt as if it was back in the day when West Virginia, my team, was on the Big East. We were on Thursday night like 4 nights throughout the season, one season. Houston, we have Houston twice. He said it felt like the old days with the Thursday Night Football. Felt like the old days with Thursday Night Football. And our games were always instant classics on that Thursday Night Football game. They still run on ESPN Classic, on ESPNU. I think that game last night is going to be aired yet again. Tulane was down 21 points to the University of Houston Cougars.
Fired back. Just come firing back.
They did
Man.
out of nowhere. Their quarterback had 7 completions, 3 touchdowns.
Incredible.
Efficient.
Yeah, it's like, What'd be better would be 3 completions, 3 touchdowns.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I think he was like 7 for 20 or something.
His
That's
issue was he
fantastic.
was wearing long, loose sleeves in 95 degrees and 100% humidity.
He
I
had
don't get that. I don't
neither.
get that on these hot days. You see baseball players, football players just covered.
Well,
I mean,
I did it strictly because I was trying to lose weight at all times. You know what I mean?
never worked, did it?
Bob, you got to play a real
I'm
position.
sorry. Okay. That's okay. Get it out. Get it out.
Yeah, I still, a lot came out on that bed. I think there's still some coming out of my chest right now. But it was the call that last touchdown.
Yep.
Because in my head, I'm having real thoughts like, oh, this is going to be played for a long time.
Oh, without a doubt.
So
The two greatest words ever uttered in football broadcast history last night were done by you at the end of that touchdown.
what were they?
Who cares? It was fantastic.
That is real, though, because I feel like in a lot of football games, and Tom Brady even alluded to this for the NFL game. I didn't get to watch it, but I heard it was a flag fest everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
But whenever a touchdown happens and there's a flag, it's almost like everybody's reaction is like, well, let's wait and see what the flag is. It's like, to hell with that flag. Like, this is this is a masterful moment for these kids, this program.
Oh, it's fantastic.
For both teams, by the way. University of Houston, who had...
And there's no seconds left. What's the point of a flag?
Yeah, there was 3 seconds left. There wasn't really much that could happen. But to say that was excessive celebration, I think that was the proper amount of celebration.
Agreed.
Yes.
For that moment.
I'm surprised Houston didn't go over and celebrate with it. I mean, yeah, that was a fantastic finish.
It
really was.
It was a magical one. Two guys going. It felt like that Minneapolis Miracle.
I did.
And I almost said that, but I didn't know if that was trademarked and if I was going to step on something. I mean, there's a lot of issues, I guess, in that booth. Can't swear. A lot of people were tweeting me how proud of me they were that I didn't drop about 14 to 15 F-bombs in that moment because there was a high level of excitement. And I almost did at the end. If you hear me, I had to pause. I said,
Okay.
Great touchdown bite. And it was almost a fornicating. I almost lost it.
Think about the game. There's basically, if you take out the opening kickoff and ending kickoff, a touchdown on the first play of the game and the last play of the game.
Yeah, that first touchdown, I almost missed. I was sprinting up from the sideline. So I was supposed to do my opening shot.
Right.
Was supposed to be from the sideline right in front of where the Tulane football team was coming out. There's going to be fireworks going off behind me. The Tulane strength coach, who I've become friends with, the story I wasn't supposed to tell is I took a shot of wild turkey with that. That strength coach.
You had the flu.
Yeah, got it
You
out
had
of me.
the
It was a rare breed wild turkey, which I didn't even know existed. I guess that one's got the good stuff in it. That
The
guy's
151?
Oh, yeah. It's got a little kick in him. He and I had a little bit of a celebratory top-off at the end of the night because to get out of there, we had to walk through their facility. And he and I and Matt, we built up a rapport because we interviewed him before the game. Hasselbeck and I want to interview the equipment managers. We want to talk to the strength staff. We want to talk to the
The
administrators.
guys who don't get seen.
Well, and
yeah.
we want to hear about who they like.
Sure.
You know, because normally they can tell you who on the team is not a ass bag. You know what I mean? Like they can tell you the real inside stories. And also strength and conditioning coaches are some of the most electrifying human beings on planet Earth. They're just always jacked up. They have to be. They're up at 4 a.m. They go to sleep at like 10 p.m. They're with the players all day, every day. This guy was drinking a Spark alongside a coffee.
Nice.
I mean, he was awesome. He was absolutely incredible. So I walked through him. He's like, hey, you want to take a shot? And I was like, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely going to do that. And everybody at ESPN was like, God, Pat, you can't be taking shots with the winning team.
Why not?
It's like Alex Trebek high-fiving the winner afterwards.
But I was like, yeah, I'll do that for sure. And everybody's like, well, we're going to head to the car. You're going to be here all by yourself. I was like, yeah, all right.
I'll see you.
Hey, see you guys out there. So that was it was a magical moment. I guess we have the call here for the last play of the game. Adam Amin, by the way, brilliant with his inflection here. It was cool to be a part of. Go ahead and hit that.
McMillan launches down the middle for McCluskey, and he breaks free. Jalen McCluskey, touchdown! Every player on the Tulane Green Wave football team is sprinting down to the corner to celebrate with Jalen McCluskey. Flags are down. Who cares? What a cover for McCluskey!
There it was, the pause.
Yeah, there was almost a mother. was a lot of fun.
Flags are down. Who cares?
Who cares? And by the way, ESPN, they could have gave me a little rub.
No.
They cut me off on all the highlights. They put on Sports Center. They put everything. They cut it off directly before I started speaking. I'm like, come on, guys. I thought I had a pretty good call there.
Well, you know, they got to move on to Scott Van Pelt and all the other guys. You know how it is.
By the way, Scott Van Pelt, incredible brain. Bad beat for Diggs and all the other degenerates.
Yeah, me and 65% of the US of A hate McCluskey for the rest of his life.
Well,
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that McCluskey story is interesting. His mom was living in Stillwater at Oklahoma State. His dad was coaching down at Tulane his graduate senior year, and he literally made the decision just strictly for his family. Like, that's a really noble thing to do.
That's big.
As a college kid. And to have that moment, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Best line of the game. Best line of the game, and probably is going to be the best line of the year, is when they were showing the weekend matchups, and everybody was picking their favorite. And Pat goes, "Yeah, I'm interested to see what Oklahoma does against Idol."
That was a good one.
Hasselbeck mentioned the Idol as a team in the production meeting, and he mentioned it like, what if Idol was a team? And I was just saying that basically to get a pop in the booth. You know what I mean? Because it was just that thing had been sitting there for a long time. I thought when Matt mentioned it in the production meeting, I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And I was like, definitely saying that. Hey,
Because
Matt,
Idol always shows up in the top 10. Have you noticed that?
every time they're
Every
in there.
time.
It's like Tommy John showing up with people that can throw. Bob, you've been retired now for how many years?
What is this?
2019.
This will be my 4th year come December, yeah.
Do you miss?
No. No. I'm sleeping in. I'm loving life. I'm having a great time.
You said earlier
Yes.
that this was the earliest you've woken up in a while
Yeah.
for this show, and
Yeah.
we thank you for that, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Becky and I'll be sitting around at midnight, and all of a sudden she'll say, "You want to watch a movie?" Heck yeah, I do. Come on. We don't have to get up.
As a morning show host for
Yes.
33 years,
That was a long, long time of getting up.
what's the schedule there?
Well, it varied. Once when we first started, I had to be up at 4 to get to the station in time to get the first edition of the newspaper to do all your prep work. Then the internet came along. Oh, grand. You could stay at home and do all your prep work and show up to the station at 5:59.
Almost what I did today. Showing anybody watching on the internet, that is a throwback photo of Bob Cavoyan and Tom Griswold
Oh,
of
yeah.
the Bob and Tom show.
Ah, the hair days.
You still have some hair on the
Yeah,
side.
it's on the sides.
When I arrived,
yeah.
when I arrived in Indianapolis, it was Peyton Manning's town. Everybody knew this was Peyton Manning's town. Everybody knew that the Indy 500 happened. I don't think there's Bob Cavoyan and Peyton Manning right there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I understood how big the Indy 500 was until I got here, and then I realized like, oh, everybody in the Midwest is drunk in a town here in Indianapolis watching cars go 230 miles an hour.
It's fantastic.
Fantastic. You're a big fan of that, big supporter of that. It's
Yes,
cool.
indeed.
But I also knew when I got to Indianapolis, it was the home of Bob and Tom, because when I was a kid, late night TV, they were syndicated, simulcasted on WGN.
Yep.
And I used to watch it whenever I was trying to pass out late at night as a kid.
We were a good sleeping aid. Yeah.
Your voice was just so sultry. But when I got to Indianapolis, I knew this was Bob and Tom town too. And then as I continued to learn about it, I was like, man, these guys are syndicated on 170 stations out of Indianapolis. These folks have been on for 30 years. And then an opportunity opened up for the local show only on Tuesdays from 10 to 10:30. And Jeff Saturday went to the Packers because the Colts had cut him, alongside cutting Peyton Manning and other people.
Yeah.
Very aggressive.
Great
decision.
move. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm getting a text from all my friends like, Pat, don't answer your phone. They just cut Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
So then when that spot opened up, I was asked to come do the Bob and Tom show. And I had remembered it as a kid. My dad was a fan growing up because he was a truck driver, so he heard you guys all across the country. And I said, no way. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to go in there and ruin a show that's been on for 30 years. And you and Tom Griswold.
You came close.
I tried my best.
I know you did.
I tried my best.
You were fantastic. You have the gift of gab.
Yeah, I talk a lot. And when I went in there and I had an opportunity to talk with people that do it for a living, I was like, you know what? This is something I could see myself really falling in love with. And to get into that studio, I think everybody has said this. I said this at the start. The only thing you were ever trying to do when you were in there was make Bob Kavoyan laugh. And I think that goes for probably Ron White, Kevin Hart, you name it. Any comedian that is any comedian went through Bob and Tom in Indianapolis. And the only goal was to make Bob Kavoyan laugh. And
It was pretty easy, actually. Because you guys are funny people.
well, not everybody, by the way. And that's why I started doing stand-up.
That's also very true.
That's why I started doing stand-up. Do you remember when it was a Bob and Tom show? There was a couple very rich comedians that came through, and they had their punchlines written down on a piece of paper, and they were handing questions to Tom Griswold to ask them.
Right.
And I looked at them, scratch out their punchlines, and I think I said to you, I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh, they just make sure they get all their stuff in. I'm like,
They
so-
they have their special jokes that they want to tell. A lot of them just don't come in and riff.
So I was like, so Bob, these guys aren't even funny?
No, they're funny, but they just had a script written for them.
Yes.
For the most part.
I said, well, these people are making so much money. And Bob, I think, was the first one to say, well, why don't you do stand-up then? And literally, the first time I did was on a Bob and Tom stand-up show. It was 2,800 people there, I think.
Yeah, it was big. Clues Hall, I think.
Yeah, Clues Hall, 2,800 people. I was supposed to go on for 5 minutes, went on for 16.
Yeah, it's like, I wish we had a hook. Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. And then I went on and did a special. And the only person that heard my stuff before I went onto that stage, and I would assume that's very rare for stand-up comedians, for the only human to hear your stories or jokes before you go on stage, was my next-door neighbor, Bob Kavoyan. And I can't thank you enough for that. You set
You
me
killed
up.
it.
I did, yeah.
You did.
I did.
You were fantastic.
I did okay, but it was interesting, those moments down in your basement where I was like, I think I'm going to go out, I'm going to say, are my balls hanging out?
And that's when I say, I think we need more whiskey. Yeah. They were good. Yeah, good days.
Bob, you're an absolute legend, man. I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me
Well, my pleasure.
and for radio. We're going to get into some football talk. We're going to take some calls, 1-833-622-3331. That's also 1-833-McAfee-1. Did
Nice.
you see that? Mm-hmm. I memorized that day one, too.
You did. It was
Pretty
impressive.
proud of me. Because you don't have to memorize numbers anymore.
No, you don't.
You
It's
should.
everything's on speed dial.
Everything.
Everything.
You should memorize numbers, though, if you ever plan on going to jail.
I did memorize 911, though. That's
Attaboy. Let's get to a break. On the other side, we'll take some phone calls. If you have any questions for me, the boys, or the legend that is Bob Kavoyan. We got about an hour and 41 minutes left on
Really?
this Feel Good Friday.
Boy, this is flying.
We have 7 hours left. We're giving away a Cadillac Escalade today.
Oh, is that today?
Yeah.
I entered.
How about that?
I don't think you can enter. It's kind of something you got to earn. Zito, have we putting up all the phrases that people need?
4 phrases left.
Okay, so for the rest of the day, there's 4 phrases. Piece together all the phrases from last Monday till today.
So the rest of the day, so at the end of the show, you're giving it away, or are you giving it away later on?
So at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the contest will begin.
Nice.
You have to put all the phrases together from last Monday to today.
Okay.
And then the hashtag that Zito will put out, the first person to get it completely 100% correct
Winner.
wins the 2017 Escalade that's been sitting in my driveway for 2 years.
Oh, it's yours.
It's very nice.
Hey, it's paid off. Nice.
We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here in Indianapolis,
Indiana!
Did you get that, Bob? Were you in that?
I'm in it. I was in it. I got the
Okay.
Deanna.
She's a good lady.
She's a lady.
When you're in her, too, it's even better. Indiana, fantastic place. Let's get to the phones, Bob.
Oh, sure.
This guy's name's Damien. He's from York. Damien, what's going on, bud? Hell of a name.
Thank you, cousin. What's going on, brother?
Hey, just hanging out, having a good time. Got about 3 hours of sleep. Ty Schmidt's running on about 22 minutes of sleep. We got a legend in the studio. Life is good. How are you, Damien?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm running on about 5.5 hours of sleep because I woke up at 4 a.m. to start moving across the country today.
Hey, congratulations.
Where are you moving?
Yeah, I'm moving from Pennsylvania over to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to be with my girlfriend.
Nice.
Across the country.
Oh, boyfriend of the year right there. She didn't want to move to you. You had to go to Milwaukee. Is that the case?
Yeah, she got set up with a better job than I had. It's a little bit more stable, so she wanted to stay there. So I'm moving to her.
House husband. All right.
Hey, Damien, you just keep her happy, will you? That sounds like the right move. What do you want to talk about today, brother?
I wanted some advice from all of you guys because this is the first time I'm moving this far away from home and starting anew somewhere else. I wanted some advice from everybody in the room about starting somewhere new and restarting your life kind of in a way.
Damien, that was a very deep question, Bob.
Number 1, find the closest bar to your house.
Yep.
2, that's all you need to know.
Quite an old school mentality.
Oh, yes.
I would argue find the closest bar to your house, go there, buy everybody in there one shot, one drink. All of a sudden, you have friends that are forever. They might be alcoholics, but that's a loyal bunch. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. And it's on your wife or your girlfriend. Tell them, hey, she loves you guys.
Oh, yeah, 'cause she's the one making
She's the one making the money.
Damien,
No, that's fantastic.
Hey, Damien, you got your lady. Who cares what else happens? Go experience Milwaukee. Take some vitamins, maybe walk around. Have a good time. Have you ever been to Milwaukee?
Never.
Me neither, actually. I was just trying to figure that out.
I don't know if anybody has.
And that's the home of beer, isn't it?
No, yeah, Milwaukee's a good place.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's a good place.
Is that where High Life's from?
I'm not quite sure,
I
but
think it used to be and then moved.
Milwaukee.
Is that Milwaukee's best?
Oh, yeah. The Beast?
The Beast? Is that what you were thinking of?
Yeah, the Beast.
Aren't those power tools? No, apparently not.
Bob, you stay pretty well tapped into the football world, right?
Yeah, I like football.
Okay, Kevin in Connecticut. What's up, Bob?
Hey,
Hey.
Hey, Kevin.
so I'm on.
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah, Kevin, let's go.
This is your show. Come on.
Kevin.
Hey,
Kevin,
sorry, bud.
Hey, it's all right, Kevin. It's a feel-good Friday. Honestly, you could do whatever you want right now. I might have to run your ass right off the line, but that's neither here nor there. Let's have a good time. What do you want to talk about, Kevin?
I just want to talk about the situation down in Jacksonville
Oh, what about it?
with Minshew looking pretty good and Ramsey wanting out. Do you think the Jaguars are going to maybe start selling and maybe try to build a new franchise around Minshew, or do you think they're going to continue and try to win now?
Great question, Kevin. That is
Haven't they been trying to build a new franchise for the last 20 years?
Now, Bob is a Colts fan. Bob is a big
I know, but
time
I'm
Colts
just saying
fan.
they've been doing this every year.
But a couple years ago, they were in the AFC Championship
Yeah,
game
yeah.
against the New England Patriots. Everybody was like, hey, if they don't think about taking a knee there with Blake Bortles, maybe they have a chance to upset the Patriots up in Foxborough, which, by the way, probably not. Let's assume that Tom
Probably
Brady
not.
figures out how to win that.
Yeah.
But that Jacksonville Jaguars team seems to be okay again. And this energy that Gardner Minshew has brought with a mustache, which you have to respect.
I do.
You have to respect.
I
that.
do.
Anybody who wears a mustache, it tells me one of two things. Incredible swag,
Porn star.
which he was offered to become a porn star just, 2 days ago? I think he was
Really?
$8.
To be the brand ambassador for Cam Soda's new line of penis puppets.
That's true.
I own 2 of those.
Jalen Ramsey wanting out of there. Now, granted, Thursday Night Football games on NFL Network. Thursday Night Football on ESPN, expect electricity.
Oh, yeah.
First 3 games of the season, we had a almost fumble, a blown call, and then a 21-point upset. Not an upset, but a 21-point comeback to win it at home. I mean, Thursday Night Football on ESPN is electric. Thursday Night Football on NFL Network, I don't think you can really read much into that. It's a short week. There's always a lot of emotion. It's just an interesting thing. I think home teams win a large majority of the time. So you can't just go overreact that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be great again. But, boy, I do like the way that team's acting. What do they do with Nick Foles whenever he gets healthy, Bob?
I don't know. I think they got to put him back in, start him.
They paid him a lot of money.
Yes, they did.
They paid him a lot of money. Big Richard Nick Foles got paid a lot. See what I did there? FCC was.
I saw it. You're very, very slick. You're sly.
You see how I slide in fornicate too instead of that other one?
You mean screw?
Yeah. I'm waiting to use fornicate on an ESPN broadcast and just get a text.
I'm waiting for it, too, for that big, long, silent gap where all of a sudden you know that they hit the button.
So
Yeah.
do they have that button on ESPN, I'd assume?
They have a button on the network. There's one person who always monitors everything. And if you say, the F word,
Yeah.
they'll hit it, and all of a sudden there'll be silence.
Did you know on radio you can't say
You can't say a lot of stuff. When I first started, you couldn't say hell.
Wow.
You had to say HE double hockey stick.
that's how that started probably from you radio people. Didn't Bob and Tom, though, didn't you guys stretch the boundaries a little bit with the FCC there early? You guys caught a lot of fines and such, right?
Well, not a lot. 4 out of, I think it was like 2,300 complaints. So they nabbed us for 4. Yeah.
I don't know what they do down there, though. Because if Gardner Minshew, the legend, continues to grow and he becomes a fan favorite down in Jacksonville, which, by the way, is a town that would definitely love a guy who has a mustache and plays the way he does and acts the way he does. Jacksonville loves that type of human. I would assume Tom Coughlin thinks his energy is infectious as well. And the other guy that we played against last night, Mariota, boy.
Man.
Stinks.
I don't know what happened to him.
Stinks.
That's a very strong.
That's strong.
You think he
Obviously a guy who's
stinks.
not a fan of the Titans.
It's a contract year, right? If you're not going to show out for this.
I mean, this is very much a prove it year for Marcus Mariota. Interesting thing last night.
But is it Marcus or is it coaches?
I don't know.
Is it coaches?
I like Vrabel as a coach.
I
a
do
lot.
too.
I think he's a guy who's smart. He seems to rally. Another mustache guy.
Yep.
Hey, is everybody kind of jockeying your style right now? Everybody's
Always have been. Yep. Me and Harry Reams. That was it. Everyone copied us.
I'm assuming I'm supposed to know who that is, but you know and I know that I
He
don't
was the
know.
star of Deep Throat, the male star of Deep Throat.
Ooh.
Hey, I've heard some.
And you haven't seen that either. have
There are so many things I wanted to
you?
go.
There's so many things you haven't seen. Yeah.
Diggs, what do you think?
Here's the problem with Mariota, and we talked about it. I think we brought it with Hasselbeck or Amin. You're either going to get the young quarterback and build around them because you don't have to pay him, or you're going to pay the superstar quarterback and deal with that. Mariota's in the middle, but you're going to have to pay him more than you would like to. So that's what we were talking about yesterday. It's hard to build a team around an average quarterback who you have to pay and then
But-
deal with that.
Payment doesn't always generate a great quarterback.
Correct.
True. And I think I think Mariota has shown more than enough that he's probably not worth the massive contract that eats up the entire salary cap.
Colin Cowherd on his show said this yesterday. He said it feels like Tennessee's already moved on past Mariota and they're
Really?
just waiting to pull the trigger and do something else. But don't you get that sense
Who
already?
else is there? Tannehill.
Tannehill.
Everybody on the internet was talking about Tannehill being a good quarterback. Let's go
Well,
ahead
he
and
had-
get a little amnesia out of it.
He had some years in Miami that weren't all that great.
I think that is
The
an
only
understatement.
highlight for the Tannehills in Miami apparently was his wife.
Gumpy loves him.
He stinks.
That guy's a diehard Dolphins.
Another stink. Okay.
We've learned that that's really the only thing we're allowed to say, and we can make it sound derogatory.
He stinks.
He stinks. It's all in how you deliver.
It's all in the inflection.
Yeah, the emphasis.
I got you.
You know what I mean, Bob?
I know exactly what you're saying.
We're trying to adjust to this FCC thing. It is difficult.
It's difficult. It really is.
What's their deal? What is their deal?
They just don't want you to have fun. That's the problem.
Is it because there's a chance that there's a little kid listening in a car right now and his mom is accidentally bebopping through and our show pops on their fornicating radio station?
Ooh, there's someone at the button right there. They just changed the channel.
You can't say go to the bathroom with the word leak in it, by the way.
You can say that.
Nope, it got dumped the
Yeah,
other day.
got dumped.
You can't say I'm going to go take a.
Yep.
Excuse
And
me.
that word.
Chris Leak is an incredible football player. He got replaced by
You mean
Tim
Chris
Tebow.
Wiz?
You see what I did?
Hello.
Bob, it's nice to see that.
Nice to be here.
Although you're retired, you still got the fastball. Did you see me play baseball? You're a big baseball guy, aren't you?
I love baseball. This is the time. This is the time of the season. Love it.
Did you guys ever talk about baseball on the show?
No, Tom didn't. He's not a big fan of baseball.
We were told specifically, like, hey, when you talk baseball, it's terrible
Make
to
it
watch.
short?
Yes.
Is that
Like
it's a tough game, but I've been a fan since I was a little boy, so it's just a great game.
Your patented LA hat.
Yeah, Dad worked for the Dodgers for 25 years. So I grew up at the ballpark.
Really?
Yes, sir.
You're an Armenian man, correct?
I am indeed.
And you grew up in Los Angeles?
I did.
And showbiz was always going to be the way to go?
No, I thought it was going to be juvenile detention halls for a while. But luckily it turned into radio. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep.
I think you found a Hall of Famer, obviously.
Yeah.
Nah.
Good for you.
Thank you. By the way, Hall of Fame doesn't pay much.
Syndication does, though.
Yeah, it does.
Travis wants to chat with Bob. Big fan of Bob. I like that.
Travis.
Hey guys, long-time listener, first-time caller here.
Thank you, sir. What's up, Travis?
Can't hear you.
Oh,
I'm
Travis,
there.
hey,
Can
Travis,
you hear us?
when you call, you got to talk, though. Like, we're so thankful you called in. We're thankful you listened. It's Feel Good Friday. You get a
I'm
chance
talking right now, Pat.
Well,
Well, I mean, not really. I mean,
I said long-time listener, first-time caller. I know that Bob is a Colts fan.
yes, sir.
And, I'm from his hometown in Michigan. I want to know if he was a Lions fan when he was here.
No, not at all.
I don't
actually,
blame you. And you're just talking about derogatory words. I don't mean to bring up the Lions, but
yeah, when
figured I'd ask you if you were, if you tried to be a fan when you were here. So.
I tried, but it was really hard to do because it's hard to root for a losing team.
Travis, we appreciate your call.
Travis must have been from Petoskey, Michigan, which is where we started radio. And when I first started in radio, I had to do
How'd you get from L.A. to Petoskey, Michigan?
car.
Best smartass in the history of radio and anything.
With a group called the Young Americans. They did summer theater there, and I went out there and I did sound for them.
And you were
And I walked into a radio station and said, hey, do you guys need someone to spin records for your disc jockeys? And the guy goes, no, they do that themselves. Would you like to be a disc jockey?
Oh, that's awesome.
That was it.
And then Tom joined you. If I do
Met
recall,
Tom a year later at a bar. I was tending bar, and I served him a CC and ginger ale.
Oh, Canadian Club. Yeah, give me that deep stuff that ruins my voice.
And then we started hanging out, started doing radio, and bam.
What did the first program director say to you guys?
Well, I was on the air from 10 to 3, and Tom came in 3 to 7. Tom would come in early about 1 o'clock, and we would start goofing off on the air. And we were doing this one thing called Leave It to Beaver Weather.
Okay.
And our program director called us in the next day. She goes, what was that I heard on the air yesterday? And we said, jokes. And she said, we don't do jokes on our radio station.
Oh.
I left the next day.
I thought there was a story where she said, you do this.
Oh,
you
yeah,
do
that was
this."
the time in the bottle thing. Yeah, she goes, here's how I want it to be. At the top of the hour, it's mutual news. Coming out of that, you give weather, northern Michigan weather. Then you play a sounder and you go into, you give them a time check and you say, and speaking of time, here's Jim Croce's time in a bottle. So I did that every break and introduced Jim Croce's time in a bottle for the whole hour.
Play the same song, same thing.
And then I walked out.
The most classic smartass in history joining us here on Feel Good Friday. We're taking your calls. We're giving away an Escalade. We're talking about all things happening in the world. Jacksonville Jaguars might be a football team again. Who knows? Gardner Minshew and that incredible mustache are doing amazing things.
Hello to Travis in Petoskey, Michigan, by the way. I know that's where he was calling from.
He had a little bit of a slow start there, didn't he?
That's all right. Sometimes people get nervous when they get on the phone with a big guy like you.
No.
Yeah.
Gumpy said that happened to him when he first. Gumpy was originally a caller. He's from Canada up there, that guy over there.
Yep.
And he said when you call in, there's like this sense of anxiety a little bit whenever you get put on the air. Is that accurate?
Definitely.
Why
Sure.
is that?
Well,
You're
you're
just nervous.
You're
I mean,
afraid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody can see you. That guy's name could have been Jacob.
I know, but you're afraid of screwing up and saying the F word on the air.
True. Our first caller said the GD word, which might have got us kicked off the air in Italy. Which
You know what? That's actually worse than the F word at times.
Oh, especially in
yeah.
Italy on DAZN. The Pope could be watching, Bob, if you want to say anything to him right into that camera.
Your Honor, Your Holiness. Welcome to the show.
At 10:39, September 20th, Feel Good Friday. We'll be back on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
Let's get ready to rumble! Anthony Joshua! Oh, yes, right hand by Joshua. Comes back with a hook. Perfected now on his heels. He's hurt. Joshua trying everything, a big right hand. And this is over.
A landmark 11-fight, $365 million deal, making Canelo the highest-paid athlete on the planet.
Callum Smith has claimed the inaugural Muhammad Ali trophy. That is what is on the line. Here we go. Ryan Garcia. Can Rocky survive? And there's not much he can do. That was a headshot down the body, and that should do it.
Here today to discuss the new partnership between Gennady Golovkin and DAZN. Golovkin's going to spend the rest of his career fighting here on DAZN.
That's right, to new beginnings. Welcome to Change Up alongside Scott Rogowski. I'm Adnan Burke. Every night, this is going to be the place to be.
I always wanted to know, like, as a boxer, how is it when you step into the ring, your name and career and everything you work for is on the line?
The fighting pride of all Ireland, JT Taylor.
All the suits, all the shoes, all this pretty glitz and glamour, at the end of the day, it don't mean nothing. We got to step in that ring.
You see the size difference. Jacobs is the taller man, but there is just thudding power from Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, just an outstanding performance in the title defense.
Rampage evens the series. Mamma mia! And down goes Rojas. Patricio Pitbull has done it. That's an elbow that's come in there, you know. What a round. And he's wobbled again. He's got down after the bell. Big drama show continues, ladies and gentlemen.
Triple G sends a message to Canelo. Here we go, round number one, heavyweight championship of the world. Ruiz comes to fire back, and Joshua's hurt. Joshua is hurt, he's staggered, and he goes down again. He says that's it. Andy Ruiz is the heavyweight champion. Wow, wow, wow.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, streaming across the country on Westwood One radio stations and globally with our friends at DAZN. During the break on the internet, if you're watching, DAZN has a bunch of massive boxing matches about to come up. They sold Canelo, they signed Triple G, they got Logan Paul fighting KSI, and then that Anthony Ruiz and then Anthony Joshua fight. That was the pudgy guy knocked out the big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Some are calling it the upset of the century already. I'm betting very heavily on the Joshua guy in this next episode. Listen, I love that Ruiz character. I love that fight. He looked incredible. He looked much more athletic with his body than anybody could have ever imagined. But much like me, you get that body because you enjoy life a little bit, especially after you get broken off maybe after a big win.
Yep.
It's going to be tough to want to wake up early whenever you're swimming in money after the biggest upset of the century and train. I'm not a big boxing gambler, but if I was, I'd go right to FanDuel and I would hammer Anthony Joshua in this next upcoming fight.
Would you now?
I would. I would whip it out and put everything I had right on it.
And the next day, champagne hangover. Is that what you're hoping for?
Yeah, and then they'll do a trilogy. The third one, it'll be the complete opposite. It'll happen again. I think in that fighting world,
you got to do it. It's best out of three. You got to do it.
but also in that fighting world, you got to have like a chip on your shoulder. It's like Conor McGregor. They're saying he's a billionaire. It's very hard to wake up as a billionaire and want to go do jujitsu at 4 a.m.
Good
You know what I
point.
mean?
You gotta be
good
hungry.
point.
You gotta be hungry.
Yeah, you're hopping off a yacht. Like, you know what? I won't go get punched in the face for 2 hours.
Come on, hit me again.
That's going to be tough. It's like that Jorge Masvidal, right? He's still hungry, right? He's not rich yet. He had that 5-second knockout on Ben Askren that I don't want to say I Simpsons that thing, but I pretty much predicted that was going to happen. I know nothing about fighting. He's still very hungry. So I think in his next couple fights, look for him to very much demolish whoever steps in the ring. But in that fighting world, I feel like once you get rich, it's tough to stay hungry. And to train, you have to be a very hungry, competitive individual. And this is me knowing absolutely nothing I'm talking about other than I went into a gym a couple times to train with Chris Lido and Matt Matrione. And if I was 18 years old and broke, probably would try a lot harder in there. that's just me.
Yep.
That's just me talking. Let's go to Bruce in Philadelphia. Bruce, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Pat, how you doing?
Hey, it's great, man. We're doing good. Okay, we'll wait on you, Bruce.
I'm sorry. I dropped my phone. I apologize.
See, they get nervous. See?
I think Bruce is just all jacked up on a little something here on a Feel Good Friday. Bruce, what do you want to talk about, brother?
You already know it. Let me give you a shout out for Z real quick. I'm a subscriber to the Twitch stream, so he's got to get a little bit of love.
Thank you.
Let's go, Z.
Zito has a Twitch stream. There is literally 19 subscribers. So
That's 20.
No. We haven't cracked there yet. This is one of the 19. I do believe.
You and the proud. And the proud.
Fantastic.
Pat, let's talk about Thursday night football. These games are duds, man.
NFL or college?
We're watching a team that blew out the Browns 2 weeks ago, only put up 7 points. It's like these short week games are trash.
That's a great thought. Thursday Night Football on ESPN will always be electric, though, if it means anything, because the college kids are hungry and broke.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So
right.
They get a chance to get on TV. They're excited. Those Thursday night games for pro guys, that can be a little bit of a quick turnaround. Don't want to do it. The body's still sore from Sunday. You're staring ahead at your long weekend. I found that on Thursday Night Football, there wasn't our best performances whenever we got out there because it's hard because guys are now granted we're early in the season, but
Is
guys
it the same boxing scenario where the millionaires don't like getting up that early to practice for Thursday night?
Well, it's not only that, but I also do believe that now granted we are only week 3 or whatever in the NFL season,
right?
But once you get to like week 6, week 7, a lot of these guys are barely able to walk until like Wednesday after a game on Sunday, so they're practicing on Tuesday. Barely,
Yeah.
not really. Wednesday, they're kind of feeling it again. Thursday, they're finally back to almost normal. And then whammy, they're tossed in a game again that they haven't really prepared for. So there's a chance that there's crap football. But crap football can lead to some shootouts now, too, because there's blown coverages, missed assignments, and things like that. But I'm not the biggest fan of Thursday Night Football, even though the long weekend afterwards for the players is awesome. And Thursday Night Football in college is incredible. But in the NFL, the guys are a little bit older. Guys have been through a lot. Their bodies have been taking a lot of more heat, and it's not always conducive to a lot of great football.
I'm waiting for a Roger Goodell promise for a new stadium to a city and offer Thursday night Super Bowl.
The Mega Bowl.
Oh,
I wouldn't
yeah,
mind.
come on. We love Thursday night. Let's do the Super Bowl on Thursday once.
That's always the topic of discussion, though. Anytime the NFL comes out and they're like, we care about players' health. We care about players' safety. And then the players go,
No, you don't.
yeah, you have us play on Thursday every Thursday. You literally have us, well, it's good for the league, which is good for the players. So
Which is good for the network that we own.
How did it move to NFL Network?
Next week's back on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
So the NFL Network was like,
First couple.
You guys can get it for 13 weeks. You can't get it for the entire thing.
I
I
belie-
love that move by Goodell.
I believe if I remember last year, it is on Fox and NFL Network for like the rest. They do like both for some reason.
But it's always simulcast on both,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So NFL Network gets the game.
Now, granted, I will say this. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right?
Sure.
The more money that the NFL gets, it's better for everybody, players included. But every time you hear that excuse, like, oh, they're looking out for players' health and stuff like that, remember, you got some guys that can't even walk on Wednesday mornings
Good
after
point.
games, and they're playing on Thursday night. So that literally immediately just debunks that theory. Tom Brady even said he's turning off this game. I can't watch these ridiculous penalties anymore.
many flags.
The refs, by the way, they haven't even cleared their head from the blown call on Sunday. Now you're putting them out there on
Thursday night.
What are they supposed to do? They at least got 2 more days to deal with their terrible. They got it right there in front of them. I wonder if Tom Brady turned on the college football game. He should have.
Yeah, he should have.
We knew, by the way, via the Twitter. I went through the Twitter and I was starting to get some tweets. I was like,
You better be watching.
and I think Adam even mentioned, he was like, hey, by the way, that NFL game, terrible right now. and so the people in our ear were like, there's probably a lot of people hopping over right now. So we ran like a quick recap of the game, tried to keep them in there. So
Sure.
we very much, I think, even took that into account. Like, granted, we're not going to be able to do anything against the people that love the NFL and don't like college football, which I was that guy for a long time. But that game last night will sell itself. But in the future, if we know there's a bad game over there, I enjoy the fact that we get some big brain people that are like, hey, that other game is pretty trash right now. If we can keep people here whenever they flip over, let's try to do that. It's smart
Well, the
business.
toughest thing for you is if you're broadcasting a blowout, how to entertain the people for the entire game. In the second quarter, it's 54-0. How do you keep them on on your network?
So that NFL game I did last year, Lions-Packers,
Yep.
31-0. Week 17, no playoffs on the line for either side. Aaron Rodgers is glorious, everything, out on the second play of the game. I was so excited to just be calling a game. I didn't even realize how terrible of a game it was until like the fourth quarter. I was still calling it as if like, Packers still in this thing.
Look
In a
at
couple
that.
plays.
They got a chance.
And then it was fourth quarter. I looked up at the scoreboard.
Like, what?
This is a trash football game right now. It's I was so, and I think what happens to a lot of these broadcasters is they do it for so long, they kind of get, I don't want to say ungrateful, but they kind of lose the luster of what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And for me, I feel like I enjoy it.
But they forget what they're covering, and now they just start talking about their lives and getting my mom a new car this week. I'm sorry, that one's out of bounds. And it's just,
I've been trying to watch other college football games to learn about the college football on Saturday. Hey, man. Mm-hmm. I know there's people tweeting me about not enjoying my college, but boy, it is perfect. It's like a master's nap. Some of those games.
Those noon kickoff games are must-mute TV.
Cool. I like the noon game. It's get you up early, have some coffee. Well, that's late for you probably. But,
noon?
Yeah. That's morning for me.
Now that's like it's 6 hours after I wake up. Actually, Saturday and Sundays are Ambien fests.
That's
man.
nice.
I am gone. Let's go to Matt in Oregon. I think it's the first call we've ever got from Oregon, huh?
Oregon's a good state.
Hey, Pat, what's up?
Matt, nothing. What's up with you?
Hey man, I love your show. It's been awesome to listen to you guys, podcasts, and then kind of now we're here on the radio, man. It's been awesome to listen to you. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you so much, Matt. That means a lot. We did start in a basement. Now we have this show. Pretty excited about it. Very lucky to be a part of it, and we're thankful for you over there in Oregon. What do you want to talk about, man?
Oh man, let's talk about the Pac-12 and how they used to be dominant, like very dominant, and now they've kind of fallen off the trail a little bit here. It seems like you have my school, Oregon State, losing to Hawaii. You have Washington. I'm pretty sure they lost to Hawaii. Washington lost to Cal out of all schools. I mean,
the Pac-12 used to be, a Power 5 conference, and now it feels like it's not anymore. It feels like it's just a conference full of losers.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Riveting.
You know what it is? Time zones.
Yeah,
People
East
on
Coast-
the East Coast don't get to watch,
But it did used to be late night television,
the best.
appointment television. And I
True.
will say this about the Pac-12. Washington State, Mike Leach is trying his best to make it entertaining. That guy, every time he's on a microphone, is must-see television. Chip Kelly leaving Oregon kind of hurt them a lot because that offense with Phil Knight's pocket book was incredible to watch. I think he's right. The Pac-12 did used to be great, but now they're never on TV. Kids don't want to go there. Kids want to go to places they're going to get some shine.
Isn't Kelly at UCLA now?
And they are. They
Stink.
Stink.
10:55. Hey,
I'm getting there.
Hey,
I'm getting there.
Live from Indianapolis. Indiana! You still ain't got the Anna. We're back on the other side. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
It's the perfect occasion for a mental vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication. 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
That is correct, Chase Rice. It is the Pat McAfee Show, but today we are joined by a man who's an absolute legend in the radio world. I would much rather call it today's show the Bob Kavoyan Show.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The Bob and Pat Show.
Oh.
That's good.
Hey.
That sounds good.
Hey, I like
but
that.
But I know you probably like the top billing.
Easy, Bob. We need jobs over here, too.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Kavoyan of Bob and Tom fame, Hall of Famer, has joined us for the first hour. We got a chance to talk about a lot, didn't we, Bob?
Yeah, a lot of fun.
I feel like we talked about everything. We talked about Marcus Mariota, Diggs says.
Stinks.
We got a chance to talk about Gardner Minshew, great mustache, good football player. What are they going to do, though, when big Richard Nick Foles comes back with that big old contract?
You put Foles back in.
You have to.
Yep.
Then does Tom Coughlin use his big brain and utilize Gardner Minshew as trade bait? Ooh.
No.
Ooh.
No, you got to have a good backup.
Yes, you do, especially in this world.
Especially with Foles, he could get hurt again.
Oh, you call him Fragile.
Possible.
It is 11:02 here on Friday, September 20th. We are giving away a Cadillac Escalade. If you're watching along at home, last Monday we started putting up phrases on the screen. Zito actually started putting up phrases on the screen. We were going to give it away on last Friday, and then we ended up in a box truck that was 155 degrees and couldn't put up graphics. So we extended it 1 week. You put all the phrases that we've put up on the screen together, and at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the first person to put the phrase together completely, 100% accurate, will win a 2017 Cadillac Escalade.
Nice.
Let's go.
That thing's been sitting in my driveway for 2 years, Bob.
I know. It actually sat in my driveway for a while.
Bob is my neighbor. Bob actually is the one who showed me the house that I currently live in.
Yep.
Bob told me with a very straight face, he said, you either buy this house or I'm going to buy it and tear it down. And I saw the house and I was like, oh my God, that's the nicest house I've ever seen. And Bob was like, I think you get it for a pretty good price too. And I snooped around and the price it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I bought it the next day. You showed me it on July 4th.
I think Frank took you over in the golf cart.
Yep.
Showed you around.
One of the most electric humans of all time.
Oh, without question.
His brother-in-law Frank is he's my direct neighbor, and then back in the woods a little bit is Bob, and then there's Bob and Becky live there, and then there's a guest house he has on the other side. Bob has this little like space in Indianapolis. It's like Kavoyan land over there. I think it's a total, including my acreage.
If we include your acreage, it's 43 acres.
So we have 43 acres in the Indianapolis city limits, and we're kind of off by ourselves, gated in. It's a beautiful area. There's communities all around us. And I went to his house for a 4th of July party. His brother-in-law, Frank, put me in a golf cart, drove me through the woods. We ended up in the back of this house, and I was staring at a house that I promised I'd seen on Cribs before. And Bob was like, you should get it. And that was July 5th. I put a bid in to buy it as soon as I saw it. And I may or may not have still been intoxicated from America's birthday, but that's probably the best investment I've ever made in my life, and I love living over there.
Excellent.
It is nice, isn't it? It's you should get away. You're like we're both back in the woods.
Yep, it's very nice.
It is. It's beautiful.
You did miss the homeowners association meeting the other day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you know like one of the guys? I don't know who it is. I assume it's a guy. This is kind of sexist of me. Somebody's running my garbage cans with their car into my thing because I'm leaving them out too long. And then they left a note in my mailbox that said, this is your neighbor. I was like, I don't have neighbors. And if Bob Kavoyan's doing this, this is hilarious.
I would not leave you a note.
Just poop. We thought about putting a metal spike in between the two garbage cans.
Ooh.
Yeah, because this guy once again, this is kind of sexist of me just to assume this is a dude doing this, but I am 100% assuming if you're going to take the time to take your car to drive onto my driveway, by the way,
right,
and push my trash can into the woods, we're assuming that's a dude.
That's a guy move for sure.
So we're going to put a
If it's
metal
on purpose, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to put it definitely on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Hello.
Did we dump that? Did we dump that? The opinions of Nick Maraldo do not express the opinions of his employer. I would like everybody to know that. We're going to put a metal spike in between the two garbage cans.
Yeah.
So the next time he tried to do it, his whole front end just got just totaled car in my driveway.
Awesome.
Oh, what are you doing here?
Then you can leave a note on the metal spike.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
This is your neighbor.
Body goes through the windshield.
There was a lot of plans. That guy was really pissing me off,
Oh,
man.
that would have been the best if his body went through the windshield and ended up in the garbage can.
Hey, man. This is your neighbor. It's been
Yikes.
this weekend. We got some big games, Bob. Are you going to you used to be a Colts season ticket holder. Are you still?
I still am, but I am not going to the game this weekend. I'm playing in the Marty Brenneman golf tournament this weekend.
Voice of the Reds, right?
Reds. He's retiring this year, and so this is his farewell golf tournament. So I'll be there for that. And
Good friend of yours, Marty.
great
Brenneman.
great man,
Legendary voice in the baseball world
without question.
and in the sports world in general. How's your golf game? Pretty good.
Oh, it sucks. Just really sucks.
Nobody's good.
There's,
at
you know
golf.
what? Retirement. There's just no time for golf.
What have you been doing? Traveling around the world? Bob retired. If you're just joining the show, he was 33 years morning show host on Bob and Tom, syndicated on 170 stations across the country. Incredibly hilarious individual, as you've already figured out, but also a good man. What have you been doing since retirement? You're always in that damn jet stream. Or,
Yeah, we Airstream. We
Airstream.
traveling the country. Yeah, having a great time. We're getting ready to go out to California. 6-week trip out there for my 50th high school reunion.
Are you going to go in there big thing swinging?
I'm not going to swing. I'll just let it hang out the bottom of my shorts.
With Facebook, people always wondered whether or not the reunions were going to continue to go.
I've never been to a high school reunion.
So this is going to be your first time.
First one ever.
Becky's pumped, I bet. Your beautiful wife, Becky, is pumped to get to this.
I did go to Becky's 25th high school reunion, and it was great because all of her classmates bought me beer all night long.
Oh, Bob,
It was
big fan.
fantastic.
Big fan.
It was wonderful. They were 24 ounces.
Big game this weekend, though, for the Colts.
Yes,
You
very
won't-
big. I think Colts will take care of Atlanta at home.
I think so, too. I'm hitting the anvil before the game.
Are you?
Colts are undefeated when I hit the anvil. I believe they're also giving me an open mic in the stadium for 15 seconds before I hit the anvil.
Nice.
Only 15?
Yeah, well, Colts PR is coming down here in 1 hour from now to go over all of it. I'm
all
sure
the
they're-
things you cannot do in 15 seconds? Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, you know those pre-games are they're like national anthems at this time, coin
yeah.
tosses at this time, TV comes back at this time, anvils at this time, kickoffs. It's all very orchestrated.
So do you get TV coverage with the Anvil, or is that commercials?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering.
I think the last time it was commercials.
Because if I draw it out just a little bit on my promo, we are live in. If I draw it out and they come back there like we are live in Lucas Oil, and in the background you just hear, "We ain't never gonna be," like me screaming over the intercom.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm in there.
I think so too.
Go for it.
Falcons at Colts. You picked the Colts.
I do.
I think everybody.
Are
in
the
this
Colts
room,
favored or not?
I'm not
It's
sure.
a
The
1-point spread.
1 point spread. I would assume the Falcons are getting a point.
They are.
So Matt Ryan's getting a point going.
So they're
in.
calling it an even game for the most
Pretty
part,
much.
except for home field advantage.
Yeah, because that's
Okay.
normally 2 to 3
All right.
points.
Okay.
We talked about this at nauseum. Great word.
It really
It
is.
is a
It
good
sounds
word.
like you're getting sick.
Well, I'm actually coming out of a sickness. We learned about that in the first hour.
Yeah, we did.
If they can have Julio Jones get the ball all the time, I think the Falcons are a good football team.
Right.
But Matt Ryan, now granted, he's an NFL MVP. He led his team to the Super Bowl. I think he's a good football player, but I feel like as of late, he tries his best to lose games. I think Matt Ryan tries his best to lose games. It's nothing against him. I mean, there for a little bit, I was trying to punt us out of some games as well. I just like Jacoby Brissett and the Colts more than I like Matt Ryan, just personally and business-wise. I'm going to bet on them on the FanDuel. I like the Colts as well. I'm a big fan of the Colts.
I think he never really had a lot on his fastball, and he's lost some of his fastball.
Yeah.
People talk about Drew Brees getting a little bit of a noodle arm there towards the end of the year. I think Matt Ryan picks that up a little bit earlier in the season than Drew Brees does, but that's going to happen when you get older. I mean, look, Ben Roethlisberger's elbow just quit working.
It sure did.
I mean, these are things that
He
happen.
didn't even get hit. It just stopped.
Yeah, that's when it's scary, right?
Yep.
How about him? Yeah, because it's working from the inside out on you. But how about him? he's throwing a couple balls, and he's like, oh, and everybody's like, Ben, enough. Everybody was like, Ben, enough with the dramatics.
This is usually when he gets good. We were excited.
Yeah, Ben, come on, Ben. And then they're like, oh, Tommy on, out for the year. Mason Rudolph, your guy. He winked at Jadeveon Clowney, by the way, before.
Love that move.
I love that move, too. I guess they were high school rivals.
It's like sunshine.
That is, hey, let him through. I'm a big fan of that. You were going to say something, dude?
Are you worried? Darius Leonard is probably out. Marlon Mack also probably out.
Yeah, I'm definitely worried. I didn't know that was the case.
They both missed Wednesday
Isn't
and
it
Thursday practices.
Okereke coming in to cover for
Bobby Okereke? Okereke.
Very nice. But he's coming in for Leonard, I believe.
Okay, kid from Stanford, probably very smart, not going to have a lot of MAs. Let's hope he can make some plays. But Darius Leonard is a maniac on the football field for
He
good
is
reason.
indeed.
What is it, a concussion?
Yep.
Okay, so that definitely changes some things. I think we should think about it. I'm going to be in the building hitting the anvil and giving a pregame speech. Let's assume that carries them to a nice victory. Let's hope the Colts do that. Another big game this weekend, Ravens at Chiefs. Lamar Jackson travels to Kansas City with that Baltimore Ravens offense that has emerged out of nowhere. Nobody thought Lamar Jackson was going to be the passer that he is. And the Chiefs, we're right in the middle of Andy Reid's season. It seems like it hasn't even stopped since last season. D Ford, 6 inches away from them going to the Super Bowl probably. I like the Chiefs in this particular situation just because it is the Chiefs and it's week 3. But
I like the Ravens.
In this game?
Yes.
In Kansas City?
Yes. Because Kansas City doesn't have the defense like they do the offense.
Well, they could have potentially been the team that was asking if Jalen could play on Thursday and Sunday. That was a real question. I love the fact that Goodell had to take a call. Hello? All right, so
I don't know.
If we pull the trigger on Jalen Ramsey, let's say tomorrow after this Thursday night game, can he play Thursday and Sunday for us? Are you serious? Yeah, real question. And Goodell's like, well, damn, let me look into it, I guess. He goes and finds one of his minions who find one of their minions. They dive deep into the thing, and they come back to him and say, no, he can't. He has to call him back. Can't play both games. Well, damn, we'll just wait till Monday. How'd Jalen play last night?
Good. For everything I read and saw on the field, he played good.
I thought it was going to be a showcase game for him. A lot of people thought he might quit because he's over the team, but for me, I thought as a competitor, you get a chance to be on primetime television, national TV.
You shine. You got to.
You're shopping for a new place. You want to show out, especially when you show up in a Brinks truck. I don't know how that's all going to play out. You like the Ravens, huh? That's an interesting.
Spread is 5.5.
I think Ravens
getting 5.5.
Yeah,
that's a big number.
I
like
got it
them.
at 7 yesterday.
I got a 6.5.
I think it's defense that's going to make the difference.
Baltimore's defense coordinator, Wink Martindale, all-time great name, said
great radio guy.
said this could be the
Wink Martindale.
Wink Martindale was a radio DJ in Los Angeles when I was growing up, and he also was a big game show host for a long time. Yeah,
I'm supposed to be a game show host, don't you think?
You should be. You really should be.
That's what I'm saying.
You'd
Wheel
be-
of Fortune too is my thing.
Yep, I think Sajak should hand you the torch. But you have to be able to spell. That's a problem.
Bob?
Yes?
I'm not good at a lot of things.
I know.
Spelling, though, is in my bag.
Actually, a good speller.
Yes, you are a great speller, and you have a great grammar.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. On Twitter, I like to capitalize things. I like to utilize the comma. People only argue that I have run-on sentences, but it's only a run-on
So what?
if you don't use them fast as correctly.
As
Yeah,
long as you can understand it, that's all that counts.
yeah, you're damn right. You
Come
get
on.
it.
And on Twitter, it doesn't matter. I mean, they force you to be short and concise.
Back in my day, it was 140 characters. Now it's 280. So
I
these kids
know.
have it easy.
I like it because I can not write out longer jokes now, but that's...
Hey, I told you Twitter was a place you were supposed to be at.
Yeah, you did.
I'm happy you're finding your groove in there. You are a good follow on Twitter.
I'm having fun.
Yeah, you should. You're retired. You earned it.
That's right. I can do whatever I like.
Yeah, you're damn right you can. What did Mr. Martindale say?
He said this could be the next Brady Manning, Mahomes and Jackson. You buying that?
No, we talked about this the other
could
day. Anytime Mahomes plays anybody, they're like, this is the matchup of the future. This could be the Super Bowl in 5 years. Well, it can't be because these are two AFC teams. But everybody's going to talk about how Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, any young quarterback that comes in, I think the only one who's really proven himself to be a long-term commodity that everybody has agreed upon is Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's like, yep, this guy's going to be good for a long time. We can assume that. Lamar Jackson popped up out of nowhere here this year. Not bad for a running back. Not bad for a quarterback either, right? I mean, he is a incredible athlete who's making things happen there in Baltimore out of nowhere. Everybody thought Harbaugh was going to change football back to the ground and pound thing. Instead, Lamar Jackson became a precision passer. That's a lot of words.
He's a passer.
Hey, that guy passes the ball real well. But Dak Prescott's another one. Dak Prescott became a precision passer all of a sudden out of nowhere. He's looking for $100 million. That's why I think the Dolphins get smoked this weekend because Dak's still looking for that bag. If Lamar Jackson and defensive coordinators can't figure out how to stop the Lamar Jackson 5 tight end Baltimore Raven offense, I think this is potentially the matchup of the future. But any running quarterback, Cam Newton's experiencing it now, Andrew Luck experienced it, Deshaun Watson, I'm scared, is going to experience it. When you take a lot of hits, it can change the way you play football.
Completely.
And I think when Andrew Luck said it took the joy out of the game for him, that's what happens. You just get beat into submission mentally and physically. Hopefully that doesn't happen for Lamar Jackson because he is a lightning rod whenever he's on the football field.
It's too bad because now he has the best offensive line in the NFL. Luck had, and this would have been.
Everybody's like, man, but not now, man. Now's the time that we kind of took care of it. And I guess whenever you make that decision mentally, though, you kind of flip a switch. It's like, all right, you know what? I want to enjoy my life now. Man, they can't hate it. Can't hate it. Got to respect it.
Brissett's got the best front line, so he should be fine. My wife calls him Brisket. She can't get the name right.
I mean, it's very easy because you've heard brisket your entire life.
Yeah. That's
Speaking
true.
of brisket,
yes,
Kansas City.
Oh, love it.
Oh.
Smoked brisket.
It's good, man.
It is good.
I think Andy
Frank's making one right now.
Frank's the best next door neighbor. He's a big time Bears fan. Bear. Zito's also a big time Bears fan. I like the Chiefs there, mostly because that environment's going to be incredible. That offense is tough to deal with, but the Baltimore Ravens defense is always good. Plus 5.5 is a big number.
Yeah, and there's 65% of the bets are on KC, but 65% of the money is on Baltimore.
Yeah. Oh, really? Mm-hmm.
So the bigger spenders are going with Baltimore.
And you know I'm a big
like
spender. You know that.
I know you're a big spender.
Well, I used to be.
Now you're on a regulated income.
Yes, now I'm on Social Security.
Hey, I used to be a hilarious spender too.
Oh yeah,
hilarious spender. That house, for instance.
That was fun.
I am not a guy that was supposed to have money. The whole world has agreed upon that.
That's good.
It is good.
It really is. It's fun to spend and burn.
And give.
Yeah.
I think that's something that isn't talked about enough with money. Whenever people are like, oh, that idiot went broke, let's assume he gave away, too, like probably 45% of that money to...
It's really tough when you have to go back and ask for it back.
to the government.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad. Remember that truck I bought you? Let's go ahead and scrap that thing. I need some metal money immediately. 11:18 here, Friday, September 20th. I think the quarterback from Tulane might be calling in.
Yep.
Justin McMillan, after a heroic night on Thursday Night Football on ESPN, he might be calling in here in a little bit. Also getting your calls, 1-833-622-3331. What is going on with the phones, Gumpy?
It's all brand new software as of last night, but it still works the exact same as before.
What does that mean?
It means it's not working.
It
Yeah.
stinks.
It stinks.
They said we crashed their phone system last week. They said they were going to come in and update it. They updated it last night, and it is...
down.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, Gumpy, get back there and start writing some code. Well, yeah, I mean, let's get this figured out.
I've been trying. It's not getting anywhere, pal.
We got one call left. His name's Eric, and he's in Dallas, and he wants to talk about Houston sports. That's interesting. Eric called in before, I think, if this is the same Eric with a K.
Yeah, I spelled his name wrong.
Nobody literally can get into the phone lines, though, so we're sorry about that. Justin McMillan calling in, James Jones calling in. We got 41 minutes left with an absolute legend in Bob Kavoyan. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on Westwood One and DAZN globally. It's been a hell of an hour and 24 minutes here on the air with Bob Kravoyan. Learned a lot about the radio business. Any insight on the radio business?
None whatsoever.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That was
That
was great.
Just head down and keep going.
That's kind of what we've been doing here the last couple of weeks. The last couple of weeks have felt like no less than 6 months.
Really?
Oh, buddy. Everybody said it's going to fly by. I agree. It has flown by. But each day, whenever I lay down at night, I'm like, whew.
Twitching? Are you twitching?
I don't know if I'm twitching or dying. It's one or the other. It should be a fun fall.
I think you twitch before you die.
Well, it might be an indicator. A little Pavlov's dog. Gumpy, are these phone lines back up and running right now?
We are back live.
That a boy. Look at him building code back there.
I love it.
Got to do it, pal.
That kid went from painting ships to writing code for phones. That is an incredible come up for the Canadian that's known as Gumpy.
He's good.
He was a caller into the show. He was a caller into the show when we were on Sirius.
So was his interview when he called in?
Yeah.
I want the job.
He would always call in and say,
"Hey, pal."
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
It did.
Yeah,
It
it
worked.
worked.
American
It
dream.
worked.
Yeah. Kids around
Indeed.
now. Lucky to have you, Gumpy. Thankful for you. And also, we're pretty big in Canada, I guess. Canada's just one big Midwest.
It is. It's huge.
Yeah, it's awesome. How's it going, Canada? Italy, Germany, in America, if you're listening. That's awesome. He just patted the maple leaf on the flag. I guess it's not the quarterback calling in at 11:30, by the way. Who is it?
It is the head coach.
Oh.
I mean, that's
Even better.
Last night, while he was walking off the field, Adam Amin, he was walking with a lady who had birthday sash. We were told it was his wife's birthday, and they were going to be selling his birthday. So we see the birthday sash, immediately thought...
You assume.
Adam Amin immediately... For good reason, by the way. We had never met his wife or seen his wife.
Sure.
We've heard nothing but incredible things about her.
Mm-hmm.
There's his wife, Susan. They're going to go celebrate his birthday. We had an entire thing about it. And then the internet was abuzz. I guess that was his daughter.
Ooh.
Not his wife. He's a successful college football coach. I would assume his wife is a very beautiful lady, but you can't blame Adam Amin for doing that.
No.
And Adam Amin, he put that up on T, and I ran with it. I was like, his wife and him. So I kind of feel bad. One of the biggest moments probably in Coach Fritz's life there on ESPN, big time win. And we confuse his daughter for his wife. But, hey.
It's a compliment.
I guess. Ryan in Lake Charles. Where's that at? Where
Louisiana.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ryan, what's going on, bub?
How's it going, Pat?
Hey,
Lake Charles down here in southwest Louisiana, man. You just came from the state.
I did come from that state, and whenever you're walking around Louisiana, you literally have to force your way through the humidity every single step. I don't know how you guys survive down there, but I respect the hell out of it.
Absolutely. Well, I was just going to ask you, I mean, you're going into this week of the NFL, and you got a bunch of young guys about to make their first starts or just making their first or second start. And the real guy that I don't want to talk about is Josh Rosen. He didn't get a fair shake in Arizona. He goes down to Miami. Now he gets his fair shot starting for the first time in Miami. What do you think about it?
It didn't get a fair start or a fair shake in Arizona is crazy to me because if you're a franchise quarterback and you're drafted in the first round as a quarterback, you're probably going to a team that isn't great.
Correct.
So anytime you're a first-round draft pick for a quarterback, it's hard to argue you're not getting a fair shake because you're literally not getting a fair shake. Mm-hmm. That's why you're getting paid a lot more money up front because you're probably going to a team that isn't great.
Right.
With that being said, I did not think he looked great in Arizona. I think whenever he got to the Miami Dolphins, I'm not sure he looks great there. But if they're tanking, you might as well put your worst quarterback on your roster on the field anyway.
Might as well.
But what if Rosen goes out there with this ragtag, terrible Dolphin team and picks up a couple wins and ruins the tanking for Tua situation? Now the Dolphins are with Josh Rosen forever. He's our new franchise quarterback. All these things are possible.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
That team's bad at
He will
football.
just get beat up, and that's it.
That poor kid.
Mm-hmm.
Who, Rosen?
Yeah, I mean, he's had to play for the Cardinals, who stink.
Yep.
He's now going to play for the Dolphins,
Yeah,
who
but
stink. He's gonna
but
be
the
replaced.
Colts, we were 2-14 when we got Luck.
Yeah.
We stunk when we got Luck. And Luck made our team better because Luck was an incredible quarterback.
Exactly. Same thing with Peyton when he came here.
The Colts were a team.
3-13.
Peyton has even said the Colts were a team. They were a team that people circled on the schedule, and they were like, "Can't wait to play the Colts." I wanted to change that. That's literally what Peyton Manning said. He wanted to change that completely.
Yeah.
Team stunk. They get good. Whenever you draft a franchise quarterback, normally you go to a team that
stinks.
That's just how it works out. And he did not turn that team around, did not turn that franchise around. Now, granted, not getting a fair shake, maybe he didn't get to start early enough. I don't think I remember. He got thrown in a couple late situations. But to say he didn't get a fair shake is very interesting to me. Now, granted, they trade him away maybe before he finds his groove. A lot of people have terrible rookie years before they get hot. Peyton Manning, I think, threw for 400 interceptions his first year.
First year, it was 401.
So maybe he finds his groove. Maybe he gets good. But is that something that the Dolphins fans want? Is that what the Dolphins organization wants? And what's Ryan Fitzpatrick going to do? Just collect a check down there in Miami? Good for him.
Why not?
It's better than taking a beating every game.
He got a 2-year deal as well.
Ryan Fitzpatrick did?
Yeah.
And then they traded for Rosen on draft night. Rich Eisen was pushing for that trade hard. I mean, I've never seen a group of media people push for something harder than the media was pushing for the Josh Rosen trade. They were pushing it all draft night. They're like, with this happening now, they took Kyler Murray. And I love Rich Eisen, but it was every other sentence of his, like, really good quarterback. Josh Rosen's out there. I'm like, who's saying he's a really good quarterback?
I didn't think he was good at UCLA.
Well, see, I didn't watch. I didn't watch college football.
You didn't watch it? That's right, Pac-12. You don't watch that.
Hey,
it's that time zone.
I am now a college football analyst, and it's very difficult when you have about a 15-year gap in your knowledge of college football, which I have from playing in college football to now calling it. And I think I missed the boat there. The atmospheres are just incredible. Watching the passion pour into the game like they do in college football is very cool, but I didn't watch any of that. So I knew nothing about Rosen other than the fact he had a hot tub in his dorm room at UCLA. The only thing I knew about him was whatever made it on the internet. But watching him at Arizona, I was like, this kid doesn't seem to have it. Now with the Dolphins, Gumpy, as a Dolphins diehard fan from Northwest Canada, which makes no sense.
None whatsoever.
At all.
It's a loyal group.
You know what it is? It's the envy of the warmth. That's what
is that what it is? You're sitting up there just...
We're not cold. We're on the West Coast. We're not bad.
He was a fan because his dad was a fan of Marino, I think, and all that.
Larry Zonka.
But I just...
I think the thought is you let Rosen play this year and see what you got, whether how bad your team is or not, and then you draft accordingly next year.
Yeah, we'll find out. Ladies and gentlemen, let's switch gears.
Go ahead.
A man who's coming off what is quite possibly the biggest win of his coaching career, which is a long one, a successful one. A guy who last night coached his team from a 21-point deficit to an electrifying victory at the last second. The head coach of the Tulane Green Wave, Coach Fritz. What's up, Coach Fritz?
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Are you back, or are you still in NOLA?
I hopped on a plane immediately after the game and landed back in Indianapolis about 3 a.m. I was all jacked up from that game, which I assume you were as well. How was the celebration after what occurred last night at the end of that game?
Well, we had a good time. We got in the locker room. I told the players, I said, hey, we're going to take the weekend off. We'll come in early tomorrow morning. Let's get our lift and our run in at 5 o'clock in the morning. And everybody's kind of staring at me, and I had to tell them I was BSing them. I gave them the day off. We practice early in the mornings every morning because of class schedule. I just made a deal with them. I'll give you the morning off. Make sure you hit all your classes in the afternoon. We'll take the weekend off.
Nice.
I think what was so impressive after learning about the Tulane football program is how impressive your students are. Tulane is a bunch of doctors, lawyers, MBA. They have 7,500 undergrad. They have 78 countries represented at the University of Tulane. It's an incredible school system, and the football program is on the rise. Last night, though, you were down 21 early. What did Coach Fritz say to the team at halftime? Justin McMillan and the boys say, hey, how are we going to get the hell out of this hole?
You know, we just told the guys keep believing. We kept shooting ourselves in the foot in the first half with penalties, and we missed some guys out there. And as far as either catching the ball or hitting them, and missing one block on a few run plays, and really drove the ball quite a bit, but just didn't put points up on the board. And then defensively, we've got our eyes in the wrong place a couple times. We had it on the very first play of the game. That quarterback of Houston's a great college player. And, it looked like he was running. They did a little, kind of stock and go out on the perimeter, and our guys, went in there to tackle him. And, within 10 seconds, we're down 7-zip. So it wasn't a very good start, but love the way our guys finished.
Yeah, I would say. I think that is a
pass defense in the second half was NFL quality.
Incredible.
Oh, man.
The second, and you had to deal with their tempo too. What was the thought about dealing with their tempo? They forced you to take a couple timeouts, but in the first half, it seemed like they were really taking advantage of you guys tempo-wise. What was the adjustment at halftime there?
They were going fast, and we were going fast too. It was really almost a battle of attrition with both sides of the ball. I think they were tired, and sometimes it got our guys tired when we were going fast tempo offensively. But defensively, when they go with that quick tempo, it's hard to get substitutions in. You're always scared about having 12 on the field. We had to burn a couple timeouts with it, so we really just kind of stayed in a base package, and it allowed us to play good coverage, but I think it might have hurt us a little bit on the run and also on some third and longs and fourth and long situation with him getting out of the pocket. He's one of those guys you got to have great rush lanes, great rush discipline. If two guys get in the wrong gap, or you get the ball on your incorrect shoulder, he's going to make you pay for it. And I thought we had him when they had the 4th and 9, and he scrambled out for about 11 or 12 and made it tough. But it wouldn't have been as an exciting finish if we would have stopped him there, right?
Well, let's talk about the exciting finish that you just mentioned. That rope-a-dope, okey-doke, victory formation, quick handoff to Amari Jones was one of the most beautiful things I've ever watched in my entire life. There's no way that ever in your life a situation would pop up for that play to be called. I'm assuming you've practiced it before. What was the thought going into that? And I thought there was potential boo birds whenever you were thinking about taking a knee, and the complete opposite happened out of nowhere, Coach.
Well, it's all our offensive coordinator. He brought that here with him, Will Hall, and I thought it was a great play call. Why not? It's really more of a safe call too than people think. If they did have leverage on the outside, you're going to get tackled, but it's okay. He still would have been able to go into overtime. But yeah, I thought it was a great play call, and it worked. And then our thought process then was, and Amari was smart to get out of bounds.
Yep.
Great job by him. We were able to save our timeout, and then we had the whole field we could play with because we had one timeout left. And he threw it over the middle of the field. I was down in the stand next to ref to call a timeout. I said, "Heck, he's going to score." he's got great speed and got in the end zone, and so it all worked out.
I think Jalen McCluskey said to Molly McGrath in the postgame interview, you guys drew that play up on the sideline. Is that accurate? Did you guys just go ahead?
Yeah, my only input on was, hey, we got an opportunity to throw it over the middle. So often in late games, everybody wants to throw the ball to the sidelines, so you can conserve time and get out of bounds. And, if you got a timeout in your back pocket, you can throw it over the middle. And, it's a pass scheme route that we run, but he changed a couple things, and it was wide open. And Justin threw a nice ball in there, and Jalen did a super job because it looked like he was going to get hit on the catch of holding on to it, number one, and then staying on his feet. And he's got great speed. When I saw he was in a foot race, I knew he was going to win. So great job, all the guys executing. Excellent play call.
I absolutely hated that the refs called it excessive celebration. I said this earlier. I think that was a proper amount of celebration for for the moment there. Speaking of celebration, on the broadcast, we mistook,
yes,
mistook your daughter for your wife. So we are very sorry for that. How was the birthday?
No, my wife has been having a great time with it. I said there's probably people out there who think I'm a dirty old man. My daughter is on the sideline, and it's her birthday today, as a matter of fact. So I could see where you got confused. She had a sash on it. Some of the coaches' wives had given her, said happy birthday. My wife's birthday is a couple days back, and one of her best friends sent her a text and said, "Hey, New Orleans agrees with you," to my wife. So it was good. We were excited, and it's all right. with a W, we'll let it fly.
I appreciate that. You said you were going to have cookies, cake pops, and Miller Lite after the game. I assume you did that. Now, just like in every single league, so what, now what? Biggest game, biggest win in program history and recent history. What's next for the Tulane Green Wave? How do you come off of that massive victory where you're on the top of the mountain emotionally and rally the troops back to get back on the field and play some football?
Well, one good thing, obviously, we're off this weekend, and then we got to bye next week too.
Oh,
nice.
Then the following week we've got Army at their place, and which is good because they run a different offense, and you want to have some time to prepare for them, and so that's what we'll be doing. Is next week be preparing for Army, and a lot different style of offense than what we've seen so far this season. And we got a tough out of conference schedule. Without question. This will be our last one with Army, and then the rest of the games all the way out will be AAC games, which is incredibly tough conference as well. So we got a lot of work to do, and we'll get them back in line here on Monday with our team meeting at 7:00 on Monday morning, and then start turning our attention to getting better and getting prepared for Army.
Well, Coach, I can't thank you enough for your time this morning. Happy birthday to your daughter. Happy birthday to your wife. And incredibly, congratulations for that big, massive comeback victory last night. Coach Fritz, I was nothing but impressed with your operation down there, as was everybody else. The Tulane Green Wave are on a riding high situation right now. Congrats to you and your program, Coach, and thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Roll Wave.
Hey, roll wave. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Coach Fritz.
All right.
We got to get to a break. James Jones from the NFL Network is on the other side. Bob Kavoyan will stick around with us. Yep.
Why not?
He's using my desk.
This is the first time it's been used, I understand.
Yep, that is a factual statement, so it might as well be yours. Come back anytime. And I hope you stick around, too. Great conversation to end this Friday. Also, we're giving away Cadillac Escalade. Zito's still pulling the triggers on the graphics if you're watching along at home. And if you're listening everywhere, we're going to wrap this Friday up in beautiful fashion. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. I don't know if that's Canelo, Triple G, Anthony Ruiz, Logan Paul, or us, but it's great to be a part of it. It's great to be a part of it.
You bet.
That tickles me right down there where the tickling feels good. We're supposed to have James Jones. We've called him a couple times. He hasn't answered. He is on NFL Network 23 hours a day. That guy never stops. It would have been nice to chat with him, but instead we'll go to Nick in Oklahoma. Nick, what's going on, bub?
Hey, Mr. McAfee, numero uno. How you doing, brother?
I'm great. That was an incredible introduction there by you, too. You sound great. You sounded confident. Let's see if you can carry that through the rest of the call.
I'm just honored to be speaking to number 9 all-time single-season average punt yardage leader, Pat McAfee. What a legend.
Is that real?
Indeed.
Yeah, I was on hold for a while. I had some time.
That's right. Look up stats. There you go.
Was that the year I averaged 49 something, right?
Yeah, 49.3. I think it's, yeah.
I was trying to get 50 for the season.
Were you?
There's not a lot of, I don't think anybody has gotten 50. Nick might know more than me. Nick, did anybody average 50 for a year?
Oh, yeah. I had the list up a while back. There's Morstead got one.
Yeah, and Leckler, I think.
There's like 7 or so.
But it's tough because situationally.
So if you punt and you're at the 50, you can't you can't get that.
So at the end of the year, I was up above 50 for like 12 weeks. I was up above 50, and I don't think I gave up a lot of return yards either. I was having like the year of my life. This was the year everybody wanted Marquette King to go to the Pro Bowl. I was literally having the greatest season a ball kicker had ever had in their life. Literally out of nowhere. I had no idea why it was happening. I was just hoping it would kept going. You know, I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm going to get rich after this, I think. This is awesome. So. And then towards the end of the season, we started getting pooch punts. You know, a lot of pooch punts started coming in. I didn't get a lot of field punts.
Sandwich.
Yeah, so I was trying to talk to my guys into jumping off sides before plays. Hey, listen, you're a rookie.
Come on.
You're literally on the chopping block.
I need 3 yards.
Is there any way you could just jump off sides so we can back this thing up 5 yards? And then when that happens, I need you to do it again so we can back it up again. Just need a little yardage. Shane Leckler did that when he was with Oakland.
Oh, did he really?
He was trying to become the first guy to average 50 a year. And at the end of the season, we got a chance to play against him, and they had guys just jumping off sides before the guys were like, people were lining up on the line, and their guys were all just like jumping back and forth like Do-si Do and trying to jump off sides. It's all situational. That's why I don't think the averages and net averages and inside the 20s are accurately portrayed.
Right.
Inside the 20 punch should be a free throw percentage. It should be like he's 10 for 10 on inside the 20, and then if you're on a full field, that's where the average and gross average should count. If that makes sense. Like if, for instance, there's For the Brand Fantasy this weekend where you can pick 4 kickers and 1 flex player on FanDuel.com/For the Brand. $3 to enter, $20,000 in prizes up for grabs.
Hello.
You pick 4 kickers and then 1 flex player. I think not before too long. Is that proper phrase?
That's good.
Not before too long, me and FanDuel are going to sit down, and I'll be able to figure out a good way for punters to get involved in fantasy for real scoring. Because there's a lot happening there in field position and hidden yardage, but nobody knows how to keep track of it.
All right. That would be a hashtag for the grand. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huh? Still got it. Hey, still got it. What do you want to talk about other than that, Nick? I appreciate you leading us into that conversation. I got a chance to say some things I've never said before.
Well, yeah, I wanted to know, you give a lot of love for the brand. I wanted a Friday shout-out for it. Right now, 2 weeks into the season, Super Bowl's tomorrow, you're the GM. You get 1 kicker, 1 punter. Who you got?
Oh, that's a great question.
I'll take it off the air, send you a lot of love from Sooner Country. Sorry about that block kick in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, Nick.
Ouch. Ouch.
Hey, Boomer.
Boomer Sooner.
Boomer Sooner. True story, guy on death row. Probably murdered like 45 people. Sir, do you have any final words? Boomer. Put me out. Put me out of my misery. They're a loyal fan base over there.
That is loyal.
Especially with Jalen Hurts. They got a really good squad. Lincoln Riley is probably headed to the NFL not before too long. If I had to guess, if Cliff Kingsbury has any success, look for Lincoln Riley. Maybe that Dallas Cowboys job, by the way. Not saying they're going to get rid of old redheaded smiling Cuzzy, but
they keep running like this. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Right now, need a few more gingers in the NFL.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Kind of a dying breed of individual. the redhead.
Well,
Andy Dalton.
just evolution, really.
Is that what it is?
They get weeded out eventually. I mean.
I have red in my beard. I think at one point I was probably supposed to be
Irish.
I would take Thomas Morstead as my punter 10 times out of 10, specifically because Thomas Morstead taught me how to punt. So that's the guy I would take. I think he's the best in the game. Johnny Hecker's a lot of fun to watch. He can throw the ball. He can do everything. I think he's incredible. Sam Cook, also very good. I think there's a lot of great punters. I would take Thomas Morstead. And for the kicking game, I'd take Adam Vinatieri. What are you talking about?
Hey.
It's a Super Bowl. There's only one human in the history of football that has hit a walk-off in the Super Bowl, and that's a guy who some media people try to say was going to retire last week. But also Justin Tucker.
Just in case.
Just in case he does retire
before the Super Bowl.
Let's go to Eric in Dallas. Eric, what's up, bub?
Pat, how's it going, brother?
Hey.
Just quick shout out, Vito playing and watching the Twitch stream with him. It's always a fun time. Let's go.
2 of the 19 have called in today. This is a loyal group. We appreciate you, Eric, with a K. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Well, your Bob Ross shirt's bringing me a little positivity that I need this morning. I'm a U of H alum. Watched you last night, got set up, had my pizza, had my adult beverages ready to go, watching my boy McAfee calling Thursday Night Football. Pat, I'm celebrating in the second quarter of this game.
I'll bet you
I'm
are.
Snapchatting all my friends. You idiots. You bet on, maybe I can't say that. You bet on Tulane. How dumb of you. I'm sitting here going to have a great night. Wife goes to bed at halftime. I said, honey, have a good night. Cougars got this.
You should have went with her.
Did you wake her up? Did you wake her up with some obscenities there late in the game?
Let's just say she woke me up when she got up at 4:30 this morning because she was a little mad about how loud I was yelling.
Yeah, I can fathom that. Eric, that was a tough one, man, for you guys. That was a tough one. And Diggs, by the way, I think Diggs right now in his mind is completely blaming you because a gambler. Now, granted, I don't know if you gambled on Houston +5 or not, but the arch nemesis of a gambler is saying, "Oh, this one's over."
You can't even think it.
Can't even think it, Eric. That's 100% your fault. But that Houston team's going to be good in the future. To Jimmy, Don, Michael, and Cody, sorry we couldn't get to you. Zito just put the last hashtag up. Hashtag Pat McAfee on DAZN Escalade giveaway. You piece that at the end of all the other phrases that we've been handing out since last Monday. Starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the first person to get the entire phrase correct, 100% accurately, wins my Escalade.
Nice.
We got about 30 seconds left here.
pretty
Bob
awesome.
Kavoyan, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done on the radio and for me. You're the
Thank you,
best.
Pat. Thank you very much. And
You're welcome.
Pleasure to be here.
Anytime.
Absolute pleasure. The Wizard of Westwood One.
Hey, I respect that a lot. I respect everybody in this room. Thank you, boys, for rocking with us this
Thank you,
week.
pal.
And if you listen and watch, you're the absolute greatest. I have no idea what's on next for you. I hope it's as good as this. It has to be better. You've been listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.